Chad's opposition Transformers Party of Prime Minister Succes Masra is demanding the immediate release of party members and activists arrested over the weekend by Chadian security. The French news agency AFP reports that 67 activists were arrested on allegations of forgery and using false documents during last week's presidential election. Military junta leader and interim president Mohamed Idris Debit Ino was declared winner with 61.03%. Ndulemba Jesada is the Transformers vice president for political affairs and the diaspora. He tells me the 179 arrested activists were carrying out their constitutional duty to observe the election.
We do not know why they are arrested, but as far as the number that come to us as far as yesterday, we have about 179 people arrested and jailed as we speak. So we are asking for the freedom immediately, because there is no reason to arrest peaceful citizens who came out to be citizen watcher during the election process and ended up being put in jail. So this is not acceptable, and we are asking for the liberation immediately.
You say you do not know why they were arrested, but according to one article I read, some of your activists were arrested because they allegedly forged access cards for different voting stations. Is that true?
As a citizen, you do not need any access card to be observer. You do not have to have a specific document to observe the voting process. So regardless of what is being put out there, regardless of the narrative, no citizen should be arrested for coming and watching, in a sense, surveying the voting process. It's a citizen's right to ensure that the election process is as transparent as it can be, because the electoral law authorizes citizens to observe, because at the end of the day, after the voting are closed, the administrator of the voting process are required to count out loud every vote so that anybody who's there should be able to see.
The results have been announced, and General Debbie Ino has won 61% of the vote, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Masra, has 18.5% of the vote. Does your party agree with these results?
Well, if we agree, we should be doing something in that sense. We have the right as a political party to have all the copy of the procès-verbal to double-check. That's what we are requesting it, but we haven't had it yet. And yet the law authorizes each candidate can have a copy of that. And on top of that, our candidate is the current Prime Minister of the country. So as the head of the government, he has the right to have access to that. But as of today, we do not have officially access to the count in order for us to double-check to ensure that things are done in transparency.
So you mentioned your candidate is the current Prime Minister. Let's assume that the results stand. Is he still going to be Prime Minister in the government?
Well, I don't think that's the question to ask at the moment. Right now, we are in a crisis at the moment. So it's important to take one step at a time. This fight is not about being a prime minister. This fight is about freedom of the Chadian and respecting the desire of the people. And as you can see throughout the campaign, the people of Chad need a real change. And in order to do so, the voices have to be respected. It is not about being a prime minister or being a minister in the upcoming government. That's not the point. Those who are focusing on that are missing the point. The point is to bring true justice and equality for the Chadian people, and that's where our focus is, not focus on a position in the government.
Ndulemba Jesada is the Vice President for Political Affairs in the diaspora of Chad's opposition Transformers Party.
Third Act Wazalendo Party leader Zitto Kabwe has become the first Tanzanian opposition politician to openly voice presidential aspirations for next year's general election. Speaking at an event marking the party's 10th anniversary in Kigoma on May 5th, Zitto said he was ready to make a U-turn on his previously stated intention to first focus on regaining the parliamentary seat he lost in the controversial 2020 election before moving on to a presidential bid at a later time, probably 2030. He said, despite having stepped down from day-to-day party leadership in March this year, he would make himself available to run against incumbent President Samia Suluhu Hassan of the ruling CCM party if Act Wazalendo required him to do so. He said, I have prepared myself psychologically, mentally, and cognitively to be President of the United Republic of Tanzania at any time if that is in the immediate interest of the party, he said. Cheering crowd of ACT Wazalendo supporters. In 2025, President Samia will be seeking the electorate's mandate for the first time after being elevated from vice president to succeed John Magufuli by constitutional decree in 2021. She is eligible for one full 5-year term, and her candidacy is likely to be endorsed by the ruling CCM, which has never broken its age-old tradition of always approving incumbent presidents for re-election. The 48-year-old Zito, who is well established as one of Tanzania's most prominent opposition stalwarts, dismissed speculation earlier this year that he would mount a presidential challenge while Samia was in office, apparently out of awareness that his chances of toppling her before her second term ended in 2030 were very low. He said his main interest for the time being was to return to parliament as the Kigoma constituency representative and reignite an effective opposition presence in the House that went missing after CCM claimed almost all the legislative seats in a 2020 election that was crowded by allegations of widespread irregularities. But he appeared to change his mind at the bequest of ACT Wazalendo's vice chairperson for Zanzibar, Ismail Jussa, during the party anniversary function, saying there were other capable party members who could run for and win the Kigoma constituency legislative seat in his stead. Although ACT Wazalendo is widely regarded as Tanzania's second biggest opposition party after Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo, Chadema, its stronghold has always been Zanzibar, where it is expected to mount another serious challenge to Hussein Mwinyi's rule over the archipelago next year.